Dustin Hayes here with Coffee, Conversations, and Badasses podcast. We're here in Pacific Beach, beautiful day, but something is rearing its ugly head again, and it's COVID-19 mask and lockdown mandates. Are people going to stand for it? We're going to find out.
We don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going, don't really know.
So COVID-19 restrictions are kind of rearing their ugly head back. And some hospitals, schools are going into lockdowns and mask mandates. Do you agree with mask mandates and lockdowns, and why?
I mean, as a healthcare professional, I feel like I feel safer that way. Whether or not we should go back into lockdown, I'm not sure, because I feel like research has shown that either way, you're still going to get sick. I mean, I would mask up. I had my vaccines. I had the booster, and I still got COVID like 3 or 4 times. So, gosh, I mean, I really don't want us to go back into that, but if it's inevitable, then I guess so.
Would you say masks work?
I'm not sure. I mean, like I said, I've been masking up. I work in healthcare, and there's some people that never had COVID, and they would mask up all the time. But I wore my PPE, and I still got COVID. So I don't. For me, it didn't, apparently. So I don't know if maybe it works for other people, but for me, it didn't.
Well, going into the lockdowns, it really had a devastating toll on our mental health. Would you agree that it had?
For sure. Yeah. I worked in the ER for about a year after like the height of COVID. And then was when I really started to realize that people were super anxious, just depressed. It really took a toll. I kept working, so I didn't experience that part, but it is pretty isolating, and, I did get to see that part, or that side of like people worried and anxious, and I still see people like with masks on, and I'm like, why are you still wearing a mask outside? But again, there's a lot of immunocompromised people. They could be wearing their mask for their personal reasons, so I'm not against other people wearing their masks, but if I had to do it again, I would not be happy.
Get it.
That answers your question.
Yeah, it does. It does. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I know everybody knows that you can't.
All right, COVID-19 might be kind of rearing its ugly head back, and lockdowns, mask mandates might be coming back. Would you agree to another lockdown and mask mandate?
No, I don't think it did work very well with the lockdowns, and just make everything worse than actually it is. Like closing people in the houses, I don't think that's the way it's gonna really stop it. It's just the simple things. If everyone do it, that works.
Do you think if we do another lockdown, it would actually have another devastating toll on our mental health?
Well, definitely. I tell myself that, I got an academy back in Australia, and I had to close down, and that was a hard time, even for myself and students, the need. We are humans, made to be locked down, man. We're made to be, freedom. But again, I think it just is the people should know what to do, and like just the learning.
Being social is a huge aspect on mental health, because it's part of acceptance. And getting locked out, you're kind of getting locked out of your group, and you're not feeling accepting. Kind of like you were talking about your business kind of getting shut down in Australia. I'm sure your business also had a pinnacle point as people going there just to be social.
Just to be social, and then to get out of the day by day, and like you got families, you got work, you got and that's the time people come to the beach, come to socialize. It make you feel you're part of all of this. When you're in a cage, is not very fun, and it's not.
I agree. And physical fitness is also a huge part of mental health. If you're physically fit, don't you think you're in better mental health?
Yeah, definitely. Again, in a cage, no, it's a no-go, man. It's very important for us, It's very important, the socializing. It's very important the whole exercising and be around people.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, COVID-19 is kind of rearing its ugly head back. And some people are actually starting the lockdowns and the mask mandates. Would you agree with another lockdown and a mask mandate?
Lockdown, I wouldn't say yes, because like that kind of created a lot of inconvenience for a lot of people, and some people lost their jobs as well. I think that people like they need to find some type of like happy medium in between lockdown and like doing other stuff as well. Mask, I'm kind of like whatever about it. Like if you want to wear a mask, that's great. If you don't wear it. So that's my opinion.
So with people losing their jobs and businesses closing down, it kind of created a mental health kind of a huge devastation into that apartment. Would you agree to another segment and another segment of lockdown? Because the mental health is a huge part of people's daily lives. If you're unfit, you have bad mental health. If you're just not kind of going, you get locked down, you get shut out. How is that going to affect you on your day-to-day? Like you getting locked out of your business, you getting, can't go to work anymore, and now you provided on that living. Yeah. How would you feel? How would that actually make you feel?
So it'll definitely affect the mental health aspect of our lives, because you're basically stuck in your house and don't really have much outdoor activity going on that has a huge impact on your mental health. Also, like a change of lifestyle can create a lot of inconvenience for people as well. So I think it definitely relates to the mental health problem. Yeah.
Yep, I agree. Appreciate it, man. Yep. So, lockdowns are coming again, and government buildings, schools, and as well as hospitals are requiring masks. And they're also maybe going into lockdowns. If we go into another lockdown, are you going to put up with that?
Oh, no. Well, we're from a small town, so the first time that happened, nobody really followed it, It was more like a preference, so... I understand the hospital, cleanliness. If you don't know what you have, understand wear the mask. But like outside in public, you're gonna bump into me right now. Like everybody wearing masks, what difference does it make? If I sneeze, my mask falls off. Everybody has COVID.
Well, they say the masks don't work.
Exactly. So why mandate something that doesn't work?
I agree with you. So if they bring back the lockdown, would you abide by the lockdown?
I wouldn't. It's a preference. I'm not saying it. I mean, I would say, fuck what they try to tell us, because, they're just trying to keep everybody inside for whatever reason they got going on. So what I feel like, I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I agree. I understand. It's a hard thing. Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from Blythe. So like 3 hours from here, 3.5.
Blythe, California?
Yes, sir.
So when the lockdowns happened, they did not actually kind of abide by it?
I mean, all the toilet paper got sold out fast, that's for sure. Nobody had toilet paper, water bottles. That's the thing, like you said, mental health. Everybody just got panicked and paranoid, hit the town. Everybody wanted to buy everything they could when the fact they didn't need to.
What do you think it's going to do to the mental health if we go into another lockdown?
It's the same. They're just trying to divide people. That's what it is. People are gonna do it. People aren't. Then another argument's gonna happen. Or do you need to do it? Or no, you need not to do it. That's all it is. But a division, distraction. But like I said, do what you think is best for your health.
I agree, man. Thanks. Awesome. Appreciate it. That was good. All right, so COVID-19 restrictions, masks, and lockdowns are kind of rearing their ugly head again. Would you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with that. I think the first time was a sham, if I had to be completely honest. I don't think that it was as deadly as the experts claim. So no, I disagree with this second coming.
Well, the experts even said that the masks don't work. Right. And here they are making mandates again. So there's 2 schools, districts that got closed down with the COVID-19 restrictions. Kaiser Permanente and Santa Barbara is mandating masks again. And if they do that nationwide, are you going to sit here and wear a mask and abide by what our government is telling us to do?
No, I will not.
That's great. I agree. I wouldn't do it either. What about the mental health aspect when COVID-19 shutdowns happened? Do you agree that we had a mental health crisis after the shutdowns?
Yes, a lot of people were out of jobs. We have the whole, people working at home and kids being out of school. They're not building those social, they're not taking those social interactions and, building those relationships that kids should at that age.
It's important. School is just more about not just education. It's also about the social aspect, like you touched on it. That's how they find their social norm within schools, the kind of their place in society a little bit. And taking that away has actually impacted our juvenile system greatly. And the devastation, it keeps getting impacted because of the mandates they keep doing. But I appreciate you, man, coming on here and talking about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Where the world is gonna go. I know everybody knows that you can't.
So there looks like another surge in the COVID-19, and some of the mandates, the masks, the lockdowns might be kind of rearing its head up again. Do you agree to go into another lockdown or having another mask mandate, and why?
I mean, being a mental health professional, I will tell you that the lockdowns really had a negative effect on people's mental health. I think there was a ton of isolation. There were a lot of people struggling and not being able to do their normal activities and routines. I think that was really, really negatively impacting people. So I'm hopeful that there won't be a lockdown. I'm not opposed to masks per se. I mean, let's be healthy and smart, but I think the lockdown and the isolations are pretty dangerous for mental health.
What happens when somebody goes from their day-to-day routine and go into a complete isolation?
I think for many people, they can, if they're mentally healthy and they have good coping skills and resources, they can find new routines and be okay. But for those people who struggle at all, it's very easy for them to get stuck in their thoughts and in their head and internally. And sometimes some of those negative thoughts are just overwhelming and powerful. And without other inputs or people or stimuli, it's just very easy to get stuck in a real negative downward spiral.
Do you think there was a huge addiction problem and suicide problem coming out of COVID?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think those issues are always top of mind for all mental health professionals, but I do think so because there was so little to do and there were so little coping strategies available to people. The gyms were closed, like all recreational activities were closed. And so I think people did turn to alcohol, turn to drugs, turn to all kinds of different substances to kind of numb themselves and help distract themselves. So I think it was pretty dangerous.
How important is physical activity on your mental health?
I mean, I think it's my number one coping strategy. Like, if you think about pharmaceuticals, antidepressants, anti-anxiety meds, like the endorphins that you create when you do physical activity are very similar, if not exact, to those kinds of chemicals and what they create in your brain. So, I mean, I think that it's imperative. I think it's probably the best coping strategy around.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Good luck.
Stop for too long, got to keep going. You know.
So COVID-19 is kind of rearing its ugly head back, and there's been a couple of counties in Texas that have lockdowns and mask mandates, and now hospitals are coming back with it. Would you agree to another lockdown and a mask mandate?
No. I think personally COVID was way overblown, way mishandled, and I think that the aftermath of it has proven that to be true. I think most experts would say masks are not effective anyway. So I think, again, this is the United States of America. And the great part of being free is being at choice. We're all at choice. And I would never regulate or impose on somebody to tell them what their belief should be on this issue. However, inverse to that, nobody has the right to tell me that I got to wear a mask or my family wear a mask. That's our choice. We're not getting out here alive. To me, COVID isn't a killer. When it's time for us to leave this earth, that's up to the man upstairs. And so just live life every day and don't live in fear. And I do understand that there are certain medical conditions that are more at the people are more at risk than others, and they should treat it accordingly. But for the average person, live life and don't put on a mask.
Do you think with that, I mean, that was very well said. Now, it also kind of created a huge mental health, just kind of devastated us, 2020, 2021, and now they're seeing a bigger impact with our mental health. And that lockdown and mask mandates, you think this is going to have another greater aspect on our mental health?
Oh, no question. We're human beings. We aren't meant to be under masks or hide out in our houses or keep our children out of the opportunity to get educated and flourish in the world. And also with each other. Kids, as our adults, we all humans, are social things. And we need each other. We need each other's company. We need each other's input, learning process. So you hide back out or we're mandated out of certain areas, it's going to have a huge impact on our mental health because it's obtuse to us as human beings.
What do you think the economy? You think the economy can handle another lockdown?
I don't think the economy can handle what's going on in Washington, D.C., Republican or Democrat, at this level of spending, with or without COVID.
Very well said.
I'm on my way.
All right, you guys have it.
It's your destiny.
So the COVID-19 restrictions and mandates, they might be coming back with the masks and the lockdowns. Would you agree with that, having another lockdown and mask mandate?
Well, given from experience and what we all been through at this point, I think it should be pretty much probably optional if people want to do it, because as you know and as you see, as we have progressed, some people still kind of wear their masks, but a lot of people don't. And it seems like it's been proven that, we've been having this mask, so ain't nobody really getting badly sick or nothing like that. So
yeah, I agree with you. Now, the mental health aspect of this and the lockdowns kind of had a devastating toll in 2020 and 2021. Would you agree that it would have another devastating toll on our mental health if we had another lockdown?
no, I don't agree. I think we have proven that, again, having experience now, I think we're at a point where we can handle something like the flu pandemic, right? Like, now we're taking our shots and once a year or annually and everybody's good. So it seems like it's going into that stage now.
So you think people are pretty resilient kind of to this and another one wouldn't be as devastating?
I think so. I think most are. Some may be still hesitant, but most, yeah.
Awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Where the world is gonna go.
All right, COVID-19 restrictions are kind of rearing their ugly head back, and some places are implementing lockdowns and mask mandates. Do you agree with that, and why?
I do not agree with that personally. I'm actually a person who, my mother went to the hospital back in, when COVID first arose, and I had to go back because I was scared that, I didn't know too much about COVID at that time, but when I went to the hospital, there was no lockdown like they said it was on the news, and she's actually a high-risk patient, and she was in that area where everyone had COVID. Well, she never got COVID at all, and then the hospital wasn't as booked as they were saying it was on the news, so I was like questioning that. Well, then fast forward, I work for the government and with a whole bunch of military personnel, and they're forcing everyone to get the vaccines. Well, they're saying, the vaccines are good, but then my fiance, her mother, is now paralyzed from the waist down, and it's been over 1.5 years because of the vaccine. But then they were forcing people out while at my job, and I did a religious exemption, so I'm not even vaccinated, and I've caught COVID 3 times, and it was confirmed. But every time that I caught it, it was less and less and less. I feel bad for those who, lost somebody through COVID, but through the experience of, your body is a natural, it'll compound. It's better than having something with the vaccine, because now that we're seeing people are falling over, dying with blood clots, and it's proven. And with that being said, it's just like there's so many red flags that were going on with COVID in general, and them pushing the vaccine on people, trying to give them free hamburgers, French fries, or whatever the case may be. It was just when you really did your digging and you looked, you saw the red
the red flags, and it was just like, wait a minute, why are you guys pushing it this hard, but you're not pushing about, gun safety or, other things that are of importance. So that's my experience on COVID right now.
Yeah, I agree. COVID and our bodies are going to be able to adapt and overcome it and fight it off naturally. Now, with COVID and the lockdowns, there was data shows that it had a devastation toll on mental health. Yeah, would you agree with that?
Absolutely. When you're people are designed to try to connect with one another, and when you are isolated, if you're not outside getting the sun, getting vitamin D, helping your body grow, and you're just stuck inside wearing a mask, fearful, when you're in a state of worry, you're literally breaking your body down. You're more prone for heart health issues. Just your immune system disintegrates. So 100% mental health, you're being inside, I can't go here because I'm in fear to do something in life, or because what the news is portraying, because those who watch the news, usually they make things more fearful, so you come back and rewatch the news so they can get their ratings up and they can make more money. So it's all about keeping you in a state of fear, and that definitely messes with your mental.
I agree 100%, man. I couldn't said it better. Dude, thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure, bud.
Awesome, man. All right, COVID and some things are kind of happening. It's rearing its ugly head. So some lockdowns are kind of happening. Mask mandates are coming back. How do you feel about that?
Personally, I think it's a load of crock. It's look at us. Look at everyone on the beach. It's flourishing. Everyone's healthy. That whole little scare with Corona from last time, man, I'm just not trying to go back to that. I'm not trying to be on lockdown. I'm not trying to be, depressed and shit and, gaining like 40 more pounds and shit. Like, all of that went down last Corona. That's not happening with me again, man. I lost so much, honestly, during that time. A lot of people gained so much, with all that fraud shit. Not me. But I lost a whole lot, man, literally during that time. And I'm not trying to regress to that at all. At all.
And towards of that regression and everything that's going on in Mental Awareness Month, I feel like everyone just needs to continue a good regimen and exercise and eat healthy. And I feel like that all aligns in perspective of protecting yourself against anything that could be lingering around still. But other than that, just pretty much have faith in yourself and in a good lifestyle, because if you're depleting yourself from any sort of positivity, then of course you're bound to maybe get sick or something negative might happen.
So if they mandate the masks, are you guys going to abide by the masks?
Oh, man. Okay, see, me personally, I didn't get the jab. Not at all, man. I didn't believe in that shit. Now you're seeing all of these little things are happening because of those people got the jab, or supposedly happening because, they got the jab. I'm not wearing a mask. During the pandemic last time when everything was locked down, we were working in a different industry where we actually had to still be on the front lines at the time. And I didn't catch COVID. Did you catch COVID?
My dad was moving out of his house and no one wanted to help him, not even my mother, my sister, nobody. I helped him, I didn't get sick, and he was sick with COVID while I was helping him move out of his house. I'm still fine, still yet never have had COVID in my life, and feel great.
Yeah, I just think it's a whole scare tactic, man. It's a way bigger picture. And I don't know how much you guys go into conspiracies and things like that, but it's just a huge, such a broader spectrum of things that's happening behind the scenes, why they want us to mask up and why they want us to be on lockdown and, and all of this bull S.
So if they have fear over us, they have control.
Oh, that's, of course, man, of course.
That's the tacticality. That's how people, remain under the circumstance of being programmed, Yeah. You don't want to be programmed in this matrix. You make sure that you feel for yourself and you look inside of you. Anybody that tries to portray any sort of fear or negativity or confusion in you, really just ask yourself, because if you're consistently connecting with yourself, then you shouldn't doubt anything. And like they say, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, guys. Now I have a real serious question. All right, do you guys pumpkin spice?
Do we what?
Do you guys pumpkin spice? Do you drink pumpkin spice?
No, man. Looks like synonymous.
I do not drink pumpkin spice, sir.
You guys got to get on the spice train. If you have a heroic story and you'd like to share it, get in contact with us. Our information's in the bio. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe like, and share. And then I'll see you on the next episode, badasses.